Check, check. Check two. Hello, 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 hello. Let's see. Today we are going to look into Cloudflare Workers and the Wrangler CLI. Worked on the functions related to Cloudflare pages yesterday, which share the small screen. So what that got us to was in our sandbox a simple counter. So we're able to store values within the key value store of Cloudflare. Well, we could store any arbitrary data. This is a just a number that is incremented each time a user visits. That is under our functions and the hello world. So we are just setting a counter to -1, so it's an obvious incorrect value. We are getting our context. We are pulling the environment's key value sandbox, which is bound. It's a binding within the pages. So within pages, you create a key value store, and then you bind it so that you can access it from the environment from within a function. We then just validate that it is actually a number or available for a number. We then increment it, and then we put that number back into the key value store. Otherwise, there's an error. So that was just a simple test. But now today, we are going to go and look at, so if you come to the Cloudflare docs, you can see the pages. Then under the pages, there are pages functions. That's what we used. Today we're going to look at workers and see what we can learn about Cloudflare Workers, which are for building a serverless application and deploy instantly. Okay, that's marketing speak. Cloudflare Workers provides serverless execution environments. So I'm guessing this is something like Lambdas at Edge from AWS. They run on the Cloudflare global network, of course. So there are both free and paid plans. Let's see what so 100,000 requests per day. No charge for the duration. 10 milliseconds of CPU time. So that's important. That 10 milliseconds of so for each execution you get 10 milliseconds. I think that Lambdas at Edge only have a hard hang on. AWS Lambda at Edge execution hard limit. maybe I'm thinking of CloudFront functions. Let's see, was there a status codes query? Execute. No execution time on that page. Was it here? That's function logs. Runtime. And restricts us. I know that it's either Lambda at Edge or CloudFront functions, but I'm sure it's both. There's some hard limit, but I was thinking it was extremely small, like 50 milliseconds. So there's not that much difference, and those are for paid. So if we have free ones with 10 milliseconds, there are some things we can do. Obviously, that's a limitation of how much is available for us, but let's continue. We know we're not going to get charged yet. Well, we're not going to put in a credit card, so let's see. So there, workers. So use Wrangler. You can use the playground. All right, we're gonna use Wrangler. So to install Wrangler, let's go ahead and grab that. We'll create us a actually, let's do it from here. Wrangler. Or not Wrangler testing. Worker testing. Cloudflare. So npm install Wrangler. Oh, actually, that's not going to work yet. npm init -y. -y just keeps you from having to answer all those questions one by one. If you're going to accept the defaults anyway, it's fine. Then we're going to install Wrangler. So it's only saved in the development environment, obviously, because you don't need it in production. I'm not sure how this actually ends up deployed, if it does, but we'll see. Okay. px Wrangler. Wrangler at is not. Cat package dot JSON. Wrangler. It's there. Oh, okay. Did I not read? That happens sometimes. Registry. Wrangler. I mistyped it. That's what happened. Okay. Update Wrangler. Well, I mean, just installed it. I would expect it's already at the latest. All right, let's see what we have available. px Wrangler. Spell it right this time. Wrangler docs. Open the Wrangler's docs in your browser. Wrangler init. Initialize a basic worker project. I bet we end up executing that soon. generates a new worker project from an existing worker template. Let's see what the templates are. Nope. This one. Hello. Okay, so there are a lot of them to explore. What do we have under examples? Cryptocurrency Slackbot, Edge, Cache, Fast Google Fonts, Worker to Text. Rabbit hole. Stay out of the rabbit hole. Let's go back to here. So that was generate Wrangler dev, start a local server for developing your worker, Wrangler deploy your worker to Cloudflare, or publish, delete it, tail the logs, generate a secret, bulk upload secrets, interact with your workers namespace, KV namespace, key. So based on, let me see, hang on just a second. I've exported our namespace from the key value we created yesterday. And so just a second. There we go. So based on, I've exported the namespace that we used for our key value store. So if we get the counter, it should be the same as the last execution, which is 10, unless anybody else has visited the sandbox, which would be unlikely. Oh, we actually probably need to log in first, unless, okay, I've already logged in. So that's Wrangler login. It opens a, let's just go ahead and do that. npx Wrangler login. So that opens that will go into a browser link, which will take you to Cloudflare's page and have you authorize it just like any other single sign-on type of thing. Or I think this is very similar to the way I've done it with DigitalOcean. Let's just make sure that the executing the login did not log me out. Cool. So 10. So now if we do a put counter, let's say 12. And then get the counter again, it should be 12. If we go over to our sandbox and refresh, this should come up as 13. Yep, good stuff, good stuff. All right, we have Wrangler help, or was it just Wrangler? So those are the key values, pages, queues. So there are queues. We haven't looked into those. R2. dispatch namespace, interact with D1, hyperdrive, AI, vectorize, pub sub, manage certificates, log in, log out, who am I? Generate types from bindings and module rules and config, deployments, list and view details for deployments, and roll back a deployment. Okay. All right, so let's continue. Nope, that's again the wrong browser. I need more screens. So we're here. So this was installing Wrangler. Yeah, we don't want that. Example, get started with a worker. Here we go. Return small HTML page, return send a GET request to read in and read in JSON. Okay, so that's the fetch JSON from the worker. Let's start with just returning some JSON. Well, how do you, so that was getting started, quick starts. That's what we want. GitHub repo URL. Oh, so that's if you're going to pull in the repo, I imagine. Some more words would be useful here. New project name. Let's try npx wrangler generate my worker 1. The init command is no longer supported. Please use npm create Cloudflare my worker instead. The init command will be removed in a future version. Okay. Would you like it to create? Yeah, sure. We'll use Git to manage it. Would you like to create a package JSON? Sure. Would you like to use TypeScript? Not today. Would you like to create a worker, a fetch handler, a schedule handler? So I think it's just going to be a fetch handler because we just want to fetch some information as opposed to run something on a schedule. We may test that later. Sounds interesting. Would you like us to write your first test? Sure, why not? Let's use jest. Probably won't use tests in this example, but useful to see what it looks like. And while we're doing that, let's change this. So let's leave our Jekyll website and let's open the folder. And it's CF worker testing. Save. Okay, so what did we create? All right. So we created a package, JSON, with Wrangler as a dependency. It created my worker 1 as the name in the toml. The main, so that's the entry point, compatibility date, so I'm guessing that is to ensure that it's compatible with all of the stack for Cloudflare Workers as well as Wrangler from this point in time. So that's that. That's that. Just the index, fetch, response. The test is describing the worker. After all workers stop, it should return hello world. So we didn't have it did. Oh, it did. Okay, it did install. No, that's the script. Oh, I'm blind. There we go. So just in Wrangler. Okay, cool. Wait, what? Oh. That's let me change the directory so that I don't get confused again. My worker one. So the first package JSON I was looking at was in the directory above, so now we're inside of our worker. And we have, so if we do npm run test, it failed. Why did it fail? Did it actually not create it properly, or do we have to execute it for? Let's go back over to. So we quick started example project. A worker router, a speed test, Sentry. So these are all of the different types of workers you could create. All right. The quick start did not have a lot of information in it as someone brand new to this. Let's keep looking, see what we can find. Okay. Okay. All right, we're logged in. We did this. Develop. So let's do the Wrangler dev. That's the exit. Let's actually come back here and do it here. $87.87. I don't have, so I am operating within a virtual machine, and I don't have that port opened. So I think it's --IP 0.0.0 -- port. Is it 4,000? I think it's 4,000 I have open. And we go to here. Oh wait, did it? It shut down. Why did it shut down? Shutting down. Oh, because when I control C to copy, I did it multiple times. And okay, hello world. All right, cool. So if instead of hello world, we return our, where did hello world? I'll come back to deployments later. Did the actual, does the server need to be running to execute the tests? That doesn't seem likely. Yeah, I don't know. I have to look into that later, but did we get it? Okay, yeah, we did get some logs. So let's, we had an example for those examples. Return some JSON. Constant. Okay, so there. All right, let's just grab that whole thing. All right, so that's some JSON. So now let's try. I wonder if you have to bind it from. All right, let's deploy this like this. No, it was here, there. Were we in the guide? Or we were in the, yeah, we were in the guide. So there was create, there's dev, there's the, if you did not deploy your worker during step 1, deploy your worker. Let me just grab this and have a look at our Cloudflare page, just to make sure I don't expose anything I don't want to. Yeah. Okay, so no worker deployed. npx Wrangler deploy. Okay, so we've deployed a worker. Here's my worker 1. All right. Let's give it a custom domain. Add a custom domain. Worker test 1 Okay. It's initializing still. So you can add a cron trigger. That's nice. Email trigger. Execute a worker by creating a custom address in email routing. Email routing allows you to route incoming emails to preferred mailbox or route worker. Wait, so does that mean that if you email an address that it will execute the worker? That could be interesting. No. Hello, what are you doing? Okay, so we have the custom domain. Hey, looky there. Cloudflare's like magic sometimes. We saw that there's an email trigger. You can bound a service. You can bound a queue. Service bindings. What are service bindings? Is that like the... Yes, so I'm going to drag this over to my other screen just so that I don't expose the ID again. I'm going to... Oh. No, there's no way to bind the service from there. I thought there was. Setting services variable pages. Settings. Variables. There we go. So here's what we're going to do. Let me just see if it's safe to show that. So I'm under the KV namespace binding. I'm hitting add binding. Yeah. So I clicked add binding, and then we just give it a variable name and the KV namespace. Save and deploy. Bollocks. Well, it's just a simple test, so I don't really care that much. But it's good to know that it will actually display something silly like that. So I'll delete it afterwards, and just to make sure nobody does anything crazy. So in the toml, we add that. Using KV namespace. Workers reference. Read a key value pair. I don't think that's what I actually wanted. No, that's not what I wanted. It's not via the API, so it's via the worker. Cloudflare worker. La la la. Hit the code. We're deployed. Come back to tests. Let's see, use worker KV directly from Rust. This isn't Rust that we're using. Okay, so it built the KV namespaces. So then it's just KV from Rust. Oh, here we go. Oh, that's passing it to Rust. But how do we read just directly from? So I actually would imagine it's very similar to so I called it, I called it tunnel KV namespace. KV. Let's just see. And then npx Wrangler Dev. Oh. I forgot my context is not defined. Oh. Yes. Yes, I knew that. Okay, is it going to be process.env? env is not defined. Possibly request.env? That's just a process. Okay, it's not that. All right. Cloudflare Worker. Get KV from tunnel. It is a valid name. Oh wait, but we've used the binding. We shouldn't need to add it in here. Refer to environment for more information. A binding is a runtime variable that the worker runtime provides to your code. You can declare a variable name that will be bound to these resources at runtime. KV put. Oh, I could have used the binding there. That's nice. I could use the namespace. Use either binding or namespace to wait for the env via your worker. Well, that was for the put or the get, not for the... Is it possible I just needed to... Oh, what? No? Because it was saying env didn't exist. Export default. Your worker code should look like that. So we pass in... Well, those are for... So we should be able to pass in env in context. Default fetch. Async fetch. Yeah, so env in context. Let's pass in env and or receive env in context. They're already being passed in. Let's receive them. So if we already have env, so that is possible. Let's see what we get. All right, so we have KV now. Am I actually... How is that executing? Okay, that makes more sense. All right, so... All right, we've got a failure. All right, so what is the issue here? Worker runtime failed to start. Likely an issue. Not already running. How are we? Your worker has access to the binding. Please check that you're not already... No, it's not already running. What? All right, let's get rid of the env in the context. Let's save those. Oh, no. It really is? What in the world? Did I execute it somewhere else? No. The worker D. What in the world is happening? Worker runtime failed to start. Additional logging output above. Already in use 4,000. So what has taken over my port 4,000? All right, well, let's was it lowercase p? Oh, I just get that confused. $4,000 worker D. Where? The hell? Psst. So it is Cloudflare. Alright, let's kill it. Kill all worker D. Kill all not found? That's weird. I don't know what they are. Worker B. Or actually, I just need a PS, don't I? Because I have, so they're just, I'm owning them. Or I own those processes. Choose all the words. Kill -9. 977. 10042. All right. Don't know why it did that. So it was in our code. So now let's exit just to be sure it did something strange. So now let's undo those changes. Now let's see if we get our headphones dying, of course. Will I be able to hear? Will I be able to hear? Oh, I can actually hear. Okay. So, did we save? Yes. Save. So now we are hopefully going to... Okay, it didn't fail. That's a good sign. KV namespace. So there's no environment variable KV namespace. So how do you access that? env your KV namespace. So that's for TypeScript. Let's just try it. I don't... And it's counter. And we didn't call it your, we just called it KV namespace. Or actually, while we're here, oh yeah. We are awaiting, it is async. All right, let's see. Does it not restart? Go to the right place. Okay, counter is null. So it's not reading from our key value. Because that is counter, right? So we already bound it. Maybe that is overriding. No, because it gave me this information from the binding, which is weird. I'm unclear on the connection between the namespace ID, the bindings, and whether that's automatic within a pages function. Just binding it gives you access to the key value store directly. Adding the binding with the ID into the toml does not seem to do that. So the value is coming back as null. All right, let's get some more documentation here. So await env your name. Did we pass it? We passed that env, right? So that's where we're saying we got it. Well, let's just return env then. Shouldn't need that. Oh, we need that one. KV namespace is passed in. Let's get rid of this and just call it that for now. Now I don't know if that is doing something to prevent dumping out too much, or if it actually is. Okay, let's actually grab that and remove that, and then so that is actually including it into the environment, so that so that's not just anything in there. I didn't expect anything in there, so that's a special keyword that incorporates it into the environment. Now, why in the world? Where is our? It's entirely possible that it's just not available locally. To have Wrangler connect to your workers namespace running on Cloudflare's network. You need to add remote. That would have been nice to know before, but it's one thing I'll probably not forget now. Oh, did I not say? Okay. Didn't know what that was. Okay. In development, you should use a separate KV namespace to the one you'd use in production with all right, sure, why not? So npx Wrangler. So it's saying that we don't want to use our production one during testing, which is fine, but this is just a simple application that is just for testing, so it doesn't matter, but it doesn't hurt to learn this anyway. Let's give it a name. Preview KV and dash preview. So this call it that. Exposing these numbers all over the place. I have to delete both of them. I don't know if you can actually access them from outside or if I can only access them while logged in. So that's something I need to check, but I think it might be okay. I might not actually have exposed anything, and these are nothing more than generated name. So anyway. What? I know that I actually needed to update. No, that's the wrong one. I don't want to make any changes to that. I wanted to change it here. Oh, but that didn't matter yet. Binding should have a string ID field, but got KV namespaces bindings should have a string ID. So they're calling that a preview ID. Okay. So let's actually grab this. So it's expecting an ID, and we do that. And now let's leave that as so. So it's still called KV namespace. We have a production version and a preview version. All right, I think that's what we're talking about here. So now if we call remote, all right. So now if we come back to our local environment and we do this, and let's just counter, and let's get rid of these. No. Bollocks. Counter await KV namespace get counter. Data equals the counter. Why? Why? Well, this has been an extremely uneventful stream. And it's about time to leave, but got a few more minutes. Binding is that. Let's just deploy it and see if it works from being deployed. Because I did add the remote before I keep bashing my head too much more against the rocks. Would you like to continue? Edits have been Wrangler. We tried to deploy. Is there a difference? It says alias publish. Okay, yeah, it's just being removed. Yeah, let's do it. What the hell? So it looks like it actually did bind. So I believe if you put that in, let's see, did it make any change to a new version? Is okay. Active via Wrangler. So if we look at the settings, variables, it's still connected because that was in the toml. Okay, that's good to know. Good to know. I don't see the preview one though. So I wonder if we, and their custom domain is still there. So if we come here, do we actually get the key value counter or, oh, yeah. So it's just local development doesn't work. Bollocks. Bollocks. Okay. That's irritating. Irritating. But we have deployed a worker. We have been able to access the worker through a custom domain. It accesses our key value store. Let's see what else. We can deploy it locally. We can look at doing this via CI later, so I don't know if it would be that Cloudflare reads your GitHub or if you would use a GitHub action. Check that too. The worker is completely separate, so a different application from the function, the way Hello World works. Is that interesting? Maybe. Especially if there's any logic you wouldn't want to either include within the publicly accessible repository or by the people who have access to that repository. If it's private, it could be separate teams working on it. That could be useful. Let's see, what else? I don't know. It's workers look interesting. It's irritating that the local development, even with the remote flag, did not access the key value store in Cloudflare and led us down a rabbit hole thinking we did something wrong. It's good to know you can create a Oh no, I'm just an idiot. There's no value there. That's why it's not returning. Oh, come on. So, if we take our preview environment and mpx Wrangler -- name space ID Wrangler, actually Control R, put so that is for our preview environment. Writing for so it had no value, which is why it was coming back null for the preview ID. I think. Oh! Oh, how irritating. So first, we didn't know that we needed the -- remote. Then second, when we created a new preview key value store, so the remote is how you actually access the information within Cloudflare. Then, because we created a new preview key value store, I didn't realize that we hadn't put any information to it, and we were I was expecting to see the values that were in production, and obviously that doesn't work. So, hope you had fun watching me look like an idiot for about an hour. But workers are pretty cool, and once I understand how the development environment works, that makes it a little bit easier to actually do things. But now tomorrow, I expect to come back about the same time, maybe a little earlier. So it's almost 8 a.m. my time. I hope to get started closer to 6 to get a couple of hours, and see what more we can learn about these workers. And also, one of the next topics I want to look into is Cloudflare's tunnels. So being able to access your local environment externally. It's not related to this specific thing, but let's see what more we can do with workers tomorrow. I hope you enjoyed and had a good laugh at my expense. Thanks for coming by. If you'd like to discuss anything, join our Discord server, devopsdave.net/discord, or the link you can see on the screen right here. It's everything's mirrored. Everything is weird. There. All right, see ya. Bye.